All right, 10 more meters to go, then we're in that open spot and we'll be fine.
So what was really cool about this project was when I told people I had either two responses. People thought I was completely crazy, or they thought this was a really cool idea.
Stefan, the night before we leave, impromptu interview. Thoughts, feelings?
I want to go to bed.
I'm an engineer that works 50-hour weeks and have always dreamed of having a big adventure like I see in the films. Now, living in Kitimat in such a beautiful and remote place, I thought it would be a cool opportunity to try and ski a mountain that had never been skied. Now, the Fosch project, I've been working now for almost 3 years, just trying to build the skill and knowledge to be able to get to such a cool and remote place and have a really cool adventure.
All right, so Stefan has spotted a pod of seals just over there. There's probably 20 to 30 seals just hanging out there.
So Stefan and I have been doing evening adventures in Kitimat for the last 3 years. I love getting out in the outdoors. I love pushing myself to get out and go places that other people have never been. I like doing it with people that I can trust.
So Pete was one of the adventurers that joined me on this trip. He's one of the coolest guys that I've met, from ski touring Baffin Island to cycling across the world and kayaking and surfing all over. He was a really great addition and somebody I really wanted to do this trip with.
Life is not fair. There's like 600 horsepower right in front of me here.
So the area that this trip was planned is in the remote location of the Douglas Channel. So the Douglas Channel is in northwest British Columbia, just a few hours south of Alaska. Now, the Fosch lagoon is an isolated channel within this Douglas Channel. It has a very narrow opening and not that common for boaters to go in due to the rapids that occur during high and low tide.
We made it! We're in Fosch Lagoon, navigated expertly by Stefan through the rapids. It got a little, how did you feel going through that? Through the rapids?
Yeah, it was a little squirrely.
But it's all worth it, look at the view.
So the area that we're traveling through was stunningly beautiful. It was like opening up the centerfold of a National Geographic magazine. We were surrounded by snow-capped glaciers, big mountains that all roll down into this beautiful calm inlet called Fosch Lagoon.
Pretty chilly nights last night. Woke up this morning and the sleeping bags are pretty wet on the outside. But we both had a good sleep, and there's our boat. Relieved that it's still there in the morning. Stefan was pretty worried about the anchor slipping in the night, so glad she made it.
The day that we were skiing, I was pretty nervous. There was a lot riding on it, a lot of planning and preparation, and money and time went into this. And so I was a little nervous that we would achieve the objective, we would get to the peak. I was worried that the route that we had planned maybe would be more difficult than we expected, and just trying to manage both the snow conditions and the weather as we started our climb up.
So I'd been studying the route quite intensively over the last few months. It looked very much like there was a clear, easy ravine that would act as a highway sort of up to the high alpine. But in reality, it was very much different than that. It was steeper, the trees were very narrowly packed together. We ended up taking a wrong turn at the beginning and going up the contours as opposed to along them. So we wasted a fair amount of energy there.
So some people choose to go to Mexico during this time of the year. They fly south for sunshine and ease and warmth and beaches. Stefan and I, we like to go for hikes in the woods. Go on, show us how it's done.
isn't that bad.
All right.
It's much deeper than it is.
I don't believe a word of it.
The weather when we got just before the first light came in, and there was pretty low visibility, and it was a snowstorm. And at this point we had burned more energy than we had expected, and so we made the call not to go up higher. Now, this was pretty hard for me. I'd been planning this trip for a long time and thought for sure I was going to make it to the peak. And to make that decision at that point was the right call, but yeah, it was pretty hard. A big silver lining of the trip was the sun came out just as the storm cleared away, and you could see the ocean, and just having the sun backlight the ski run as you ski down, watching the ocean, skiing next to this crystal clear river on actually decent spring conditions was pretty neat. So once we reached base camp, that realization that there had been snow all the way down, I think it made us realize that this was possible, and that just the teamwork and effort and bond that we had kind of worked through together up to this point kind of really solidified. And that just really made us realize that this is possible. It is possible to make it to the peak, and maybe not this time, but we're coming back.
Oh, we got the moves here. So we've been sitting in the cold all morning long, and the sun has just popped out.
I'm pretty sure I convinced Pete just to come on this trip because I told him there were beautiful hot springs. So once we got there, that was a pretty big highlight to see just his happiness being in warm water.
We made it to the hot springs.
So I think reflecting back on this adventure, I really realized that a lot of the adventure is all the really cool people that you meet and help you along the way, from fishermen to avalanche guides to First Nations to filmmakers. The journey of getting to this point and to be able to share it with these incredible people and make these really cool friendships by far has been the best part of this. And I think those are things that aren't always shown in these big adventure films that I'm really thankful for.
So time is tight. We've got to get through the rapids at slack tide, and we were kind of marooned in the bay by about 100 meters of pack ice. That was sketchy, eh?
Yeah, that's